Tyson Fury was not affected in any sort of way with the Rona. The Delta strain, says his promoter. We're going to talk about that. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Do me a solid. Throw a like on this video. It's very simple. I drop a video. You enjoy it. Throw a like on the video. It goes a long way to notify others that the content is fire, and this is what they're looking for. My name is Ego. I'm your host. This is your one-stop shop for all your boxing needs. Let's get into it. Link in the description. You guys see it on the screen. What more can I say? Jay-Z voice. Tyson Fury wasn't affected by anything despite complications ahead of the Wilder fight, says his promoter ARUM. Right? Man, oh man. Let's go. Tyson Fury, you see the very first opening stanza says Tyson Fury has not been affected, quote, adversely by the postponement and contracting Rona-19 to the buildup in the fight with Wilder, says his promoter. Fury will defend his title, yada, 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 which was rearranged for October 9th after an earlier date was postponed, July 24th, when Fury contracted the Rona. He had previously been deep in negotiations to fight Anthony Joshua for undisputed until a court of arbitration ruled that he must instead fight Wilder. So Tyson Fury's team, they was capping. Continuing with the article, this is Bob Arum's statements, right? He says, I quote, "I am not a psychiatrist, but I spent considerable time with Fury after the arbitrator's decision, after his diagnosis, then after his diagnosis. It seemed to me that he wasn't affected by anything." So the arbitration, losing that battle in court, and after his Rona diagnosis, nothing fazed him. He wasn't affected by anything. He says Tyson had a great mentality and none of these issues have had any effect, right? Is he fooling me, fooling himself? I don't think so. So Bob Arum is suggesting that he doesn't think that any of these things play a part in how Tyson Fury is managing. None of these things have affected him adversely, he continues to say. It says Arum reflected on the postponement of Wilder Fury. It started off with a nice, relatively small group of sparring partners in our gym. And that's what makes it worse, is that it was in the top ranked gym, but no one else is sick except for people in Fury's camp, allegedly. Before anybody realized the sparring partners were bringing in friends and Fury's trainer. How do you not, bro, this is just looking bad for old media. How do you not realize that unnecessary people are in your gym during the pandemic? I mean, Bob Arum probably shouldn't have even done this interview. This is a bad look. It says, quote, "Before anyone realized the sparring partners were bringing in friends and Fury's trainer, Sugar Hill Stewart, had other fighters that he was training. Nobody was testing." What? So let me get this straight. Multi-million-dollar trilogy that you were forced to fight, because we know, as this article depicted, and everyone who doesn't live under a rock knows, that Tyson Fury's team and Eddie Hearn and Joshua, they were all saying that the fight in Saudi Arabia was done. This man, Bob Arum, really just said nobody was testing. Oh man, that's a bad look. And he says it started off as a small group, and before anybody could notice, people were bringing in other people. So if you have 7 people in your gym, and then that doubles and you got 14 people in your gym, right? And then that triples, the initial number triples, you have 21 people in your gym, then 28 people. I mean, how do you not notice that? How do you not know an influx of people in and out traffic? You know, don't they have like buildings that say maximum occupancy based on the firemen or the fire marshal codes? I mean, this just sounds crazy. Nobody was testing, and you couldn't see multiple people who didn't need to be there in Fury's camp. Got you. It was going on the way we used to do it before Rona. That was irresponsible on all of our parts. Bro, this is embarrassing for old media. They need to just pack it up. Admit I'm the Don. I'm the king of this boxing talk. There has never been anyone greater when it comes to delivering these boxing videos on YouTube in the digital space. Everything I said, Ego Stradamus strikes again, is now coming to light. Bob Arum is now taking fault. It was going on the way we used to do before Rona. That was irresponsible on all of our parts. Tyson had a relatively mild case, but had heavy breathing and congestion. There was no choice but to postpone it. Oh my gosh. We are hoping the bans on travel will be lifted and we will get some Brits over for the fight. They bring in such a vibe to the arena. Now it sounds like the truth is starting to spill out. Tyson Fury, it sounded like he was getting mopped up in his sparring, and he looks fat as hell and he looks out of shape even at the press conference. And the travel ban with the UK coming to America would have been a hard thing to swing for the summer, July 24th, but you push it back to October 29th. They're hoping that Fury can get riled up by the troops and British teeth fans. But the funny thing is this, it's not funny that we're in this situation, but I don't know that we should even be optimistic because people in America aren't following the mandates. Some people refuse to get vaccinated. Some places are now forcing you to show a vaccination card, like almost like proof of insurance, proof of vaccination. So the cases are rising and there's an influx of cases. So you can't bank on the UK people being able to come with Rona at this particular time with these increased, laws and governments mandating what happens in their state. So that doesn't look good. The promoter vowed the same mistake would not happen again. We are experts on the bubble. We invented the bubble before the NBA did. So this, once again, this looks crazy. Bob Arum says we are experts on the bubble before the NBA shut down, which is not accurate because the NBA was the first to shut down in March 2020. Top Rank, their fight with Shakur Stevenson, I can look it up, but it was after the NBA shutdown. You know what? Let's prove it. So you guys see right there on the screen, Bob Arum says, we are experts on the bubble. We invented the bubble before the NBA did, right? So he's saying they invented it, but the NBA bubble has been around. Like, look, March 11th, it says the day that changed. This is when the pandemic, the NBA did the shutdown, right? And then it says making the rounds, Top Rank's first show. Their first show was Shakur Stevenson, and this was in June or July. See, June. So they didn't invent the bubble. Bob Arum continues, the gym will be a complete bubble. Nobody's getting in or out without a test. If you are negative, you can come into the gym. If you are positive, goodbye. Sparring partners are not allowed to bring their entourages. We won't have Sugar Hill training 6 or 7 people. The gym will be devoted completely to Tyson. 2 of his sparring partners are on the undercard, F.A. Ajagba and Jared Anderson. Wow, this is crazy. So Bob Arum is saying they invented the bubble, right? And they know all the protocols, but Tyson Fury had all this circus and extended entourage in the Top Ranked gym, and he's admitting that this was negligent and irresponsible on their part, as I just declared and read from Bob Arum's own mouth. Irresponsible on all of our parts. So this is just a bad look. This is a horrible look. You got on one end, Bob Arum is professing to anyone who will listen that they are the masters of the pandemic protocol and the bubble, but then somehow, some way, unnecessary people infected Fury's whole camp. Now, for those who don't believe Tyson Fury was even sick to begin with, right? This article doesn't make you feel any different. Now, Fury was seen 6 days later renting luxury cars on the Vegas Strip, in casinos and gambling, establishments and bars, days after the fight. And now Bob Arum is telling you that Tyson Fury has nothing has affected him. So why would anyone believe Tyson Fury at this point? That is beyond me. So Bob Arum is I really don't believe Tyson Fury was sick. I really, in my heart of all heart, I think he was getting beat up in sparring, his elbows messed up, and he needed more time to train. They wanted to hope for like British fight fans to come and create this like grand arrivals of gypsy people screaming and, you know, British fans chanting and singing Sweet Caroline. That's what I believe. You know, either way, it's a bad look because it was Top Rank, ESPN, and Tyson Fury that weren't ready, not Deontay Wilder. And it's shocking that Tyson Fury has this multi-million-dollar fight that you were forced into, and then in your own gym. It's not like Tyson Fury's personal gym and he had nobody mediating the door, you know, and he didn't have new bouncers at the door. This is the top-ranked gym where it has Tyson Fury's poster. Why would you be that reckless and careless? Which, credit to Bob Arum, he did admit that it was their fault, but it goes without saying now. It's just like, how could you let something like that even happen for a fight of this magnitude? Do you think Errol Spence and Derrick James are allowing people that don't really need to be there, other than his kids and, you know, people that have to be there? Even when I move spots to this new spot that I'm in now, to do a tour of the place, I had to do a Rona test. So a multi-million-dollar fight like Wilder and Fury, and all the networks that are involved, both Fox and ESPN, all the money that's at stake, a failed fight with Fury and Fury and Joshua that they talked about, for you to be this reckless after you already told us he was fully vaccinated and then you said he wasn't. This just all looks very sloppy, and it's always from Fury's team. And I think it looks terrible. It looks absolutely terrible. Some people don't even believe that he had the Rona. And again, how could you doubt people? Bob Arum is saying that one of the most dangerous viral infections that we've seen in the last 25 years, Tyson Fury has absolutely no symptoms and he's not affected by it in the least. So it's like, was he ever even sick? Because his body looks terrible. You know, was he ever even sick based on his behavior, based on the confidence from John Fury in recent interviews, and Bob Arum saying, I'm confident that Fury won't be affected by the Rona or losing the arbitration? How do you know that? This is a respiratory disease or virus that some people bottom line is, look at other people who had the Rona. And Virgil Ortiz Jr., he has a recent interview. He said he had the Rona, and he said he felt horrible all the way to the Hooker fight. He said it took several months, go listen to him versus someone like a known liar and crackhead like Fury. Virgil Ortiz Jr. said it took months for him to really feel up to his best. And he had to fight through hell. He said he didn't feel like going to the gym and stuff, and he was like really down. And then Fury, he's just, him and his team, they all had the mutated strain, but they all bounced back. Joseph Parker, everyone that was around him, they were able to beat this with no symptoms. Joseph Parker's at the Conor McGregor fight. Jared Anderson and Efe Ajagba have been seen working out. Joseph Parker working out. I mean, if you believe Fury, that's on you. His team said he was vaccinated. Then they said he wasn't vaccinated. Then they said that nothing will come between his fights because Tyson and his whole corner is vaccinated, right? But then now Bob Arum is saying we carelessly let unnecessary people into the building that didn't need to be there. But now we won't do this because we're the masters of the bubble. This is sad. Old media down bad. Peace.